We're going to make a journal from some materials you probably have around your house, and it is a very solid journal. When you get finished, it is a very sturdy book, even though we're starting from a cereal box base. So I have some detailed instructions as well as inch and centimeter measurements at papercraftcrystal.com. But basically we are going to start out with a cereal box that is at least 9 inches tall and 6 inches wide, with a spine that's around 2 inches. First thing you're going to do is just flatten the box, and I cut off the edges just to make this a little bit easier. And then you're going to measure so that from the fold line to the edge on the front and back it's 6 inches wide, which is just a little bit larger than the width of a folded letter size piece of paper in the United States, and 9 inches tall, which is just a little bit taller than the width of regular letter size paper. So since you're working with a cereal box, this is very easy to cut with just regular scissors, and you don't need any special tools or dies or nothing more than a ruler or just a folded piece of copy paper to use as your guide. Once you've got everything cut to the correct size, I did reinforce the fold line with some tape. This was not perhaps the best choice of tape. I think a wider tape would be better. So if you've got some 2-inch duct tape, if your kids were into duct tape projects a couple years back, that would really be perfect. I happen to have a big pile of this first aid tape that my mother recently gave me, and I have no use for it, so that's why I'm using that. Probably not really necessary to reinforce the fold, but I just thought if the book got a lot of use, I might want to have that weak point kind of reinforced. So once we get the tape on the fold line, we're going to take some other cereal boxes or cracker boxes or whatever you have that's a similar weight cardboard, and we're going to glue them on for some additional strength. Now the smaller pieces need to be just a little bit smaller. Same height, but just a little bit less wide, about 1/4 inch. So the sides are going to be 9 inches tall by about 5 3/4 inches wide. And then the measurement for the spine piece is going to depend on which box you choose. Now the spine of this particular Chex box happens to be about 2 1/4 inches. So the spine pieces that I cut from a cookie box are 9 inches tall and just under 2 inches wide. And the reason why you make these extra pieces just a little bit smaller is so that the cover will continue to fold well, even with all of these layers. So once we've gotten the front pieces on, I'm just putting some paperweights on them to help them adhere better. I'm putting the spine pieces on using the same approach. You don't really need to flatten out the glue when you're working with a thick material like cardboard. It is good to thin out the glue with either the edge of an expired gift card or a brush if you're working with a really thin material. So if you elect to decorate the cover of your journal with some thin paper like wrapping paper, you would want to spread out the glue with a brush or the edge of a card. Now we're going to measure the twine for the twine binding by just measuring out some twine or some string, or I'm using some thin elastic cord, about 11 times the height of the journal. I just measured it out against the journal. I did take a ruler and see how long it ended up being in the end, and it is about 3 yards. So that is enough to give you 5 places to attach pages and still tie off in the middle of the book. And once you've got the binding there, you're going to fold some 8.5 by 11 letter paper in half and add that to each of these cords to make the pages of the book. You can decorate the cover any way you like, and there are detailed instructions at papercraftcrystal.com as well as international measurements. Thanks for joining me today.